This is the Women in Technology FM podcast. From our broadcast, you will find out some news from IT and the world of new technologies. You will also hear about plans and events organized by the Women in Technology Poland community. We cover a variety of topics that interest our community. So, from programming, testing and data analysis to project management and UX. Regardless of whether you are at the beginning of your career in IT or you are already an expert in your field, you will find in our programs something for yourself. Have you ever thought about being a project manager? Have you heard that this is one of the most interesting options to start a career in IT? Or maybe you are thinking about changing your current technical path to something new but still in the IT area? You are not sure if this is something for you, and this is why you would like to hear what kind of background and skills are worth having, what actually are the responsibilities of the project manager, or what types of projects you could manage having this role? Well, today is a great opportunity to listen to answers to those questions. In today's episode, we have a conversation between two experienced project managers. Both girls have interesting stories about how it happened that they became project managers. Since they started, they have gathered impressive experience in the project management field. And they share with you some of their opinions, insights and piece of advice. Please meet Karolina Sołoducha, who works as project manager at Philip Morris International, also called PMI, with whom Judyta Wolak, also project manager, a member of the Women in Technology Poland Association, talks. Karolina has a strong technological background. After graduating from mechanical engineering, she gathered 4 years of experience in project management in IT domain. She's mainly interested in projects based on cloud platforms integrating devices, different systems, and providing digitalization. From half a year, Karolina works for PMI. Believe you can, and you're halfway there, by Theodore Roosevelt, is her favorite quote. Judyta has 7 years of experience in managing projects in IT-related companies. She's been developing her skills by working in electronic, automotive, and fintech areas. Judyta believes that people are the most important part of a project because their talents, way of communication, and trust are crucial factors that stay behind the final effects. Privately, she's a Hyrex from Beskidniski and deeply in love in Tatra Mountains and cats.
Hi, Karolina. It's very nice to meet you. How are you?
Hi, Judyta. Nice to meet you. Thank you. I'm good. And you?
I'm fine, perfectly fine. I'm very glad that we have you today with us, and I've got plenty of questions to you. So let's kick off then.
Yes.
What was the reason that you wanted to become project manager?
Actually, it was not planned. It just happened that in my second job, where I started as sales engineer of software for CNC machines, my boss offered me to do end-to-end solution. Once I sold it, I was managing the implementation of it and sometimes doing the integrations with some small customer systems.
Okay, that's interesting because looking on your LinkedIn profile, we can find out that you studied mechanical engineering. How did it even happen that you become a project manager?
I started as CAD constructor, but I didn't feel like doing it my whole life. So designing CAD models of different mechanical parts. After 1.5 years, I decided it's time to requalify, and I decided to requalify to IT as I saw that many of my colleagues after the same mechanical studies can do it and recommend the job in IT industry. And it was not easy to find a way how to do it, but I wanted to try. So finally I started as a sales engineer of the software solution, which I mentioned before. So I was managing implementation projects and integrations between the machines and the small ERP systems. And then in the next company, I was hired with a title of project manager. So it was the projects in the area of Internet of Things, cloud-based solutions integrated with integrated hardware and web-based application and ERP system. And right now, since 6 months, I've been working in PMI in central IT department, working on migration project from on-site application to cloud-based solution.
I really like this story, seriously. Is your technological background helpful? Can you give us some example?
I think so, yes. In my previous job, I would say I had very good understanding of production processes, and I was fluent in setting up them in ERP system. It helped us a lot during the projects when we were integrating systems, and there were only typical IT people working in a team, and nobody who really had the production knowledge. So I had my big input to this project. And in PMI, I can quite easily explain technical overview and project steps to business people so they can understand what we are working on. And I find it as an advantage. So the skill to translate from technical to business language. I would like to mention maybe that additionally in my previous job, I had really good trainings and people eager to teach me many IT issues, IT language. They provided me the right books and spaces to look for the knowledge. So honestly speaking, I learned most of things at work on my own failures.
It's great that you mentioned that, because I think that the relationships in the team are the most important item driven to the project success. So coming back to the projects, what were your first project for which you were responsible? Which one do you like the most and why?
Okay. I liked most IoT projects based on IoT Cloud platform, which connected devices, different systems like ERP, business intelligence, and some others. So for these projects, we were integrating the machines. We gathered information from sensors. For example, we counted the velocity of the machine, and based on that, we could count the efficiency of production or quantity of produced items. We were displaying this real data lively on dashboard, and they were easily accessible for managers who coordinated the production. So they could then use this data and to make the production plan better and more efficient and correct the process itself. So as a project manager, my responsibilities there was to gather requirements from customer, analyze them, translate to development team. I was coordinating work, speaking with not only customer, but product owner and different teams. You have to remember that you can work with teams who are located in different places, means, for example, different time zones. So I needed to be aligned with them, with product owners' business strategy. So if one team, like development team, is working on both customer project and product itself, there are always some discussions what is more important. So sometimes you need to work with teams who work in different methodologies, like Agile or Waterfall, and you need to adjust the project schedule and timeline to both. So I prepared the project schedule and managed budget of the project, and all this to fulfill a common goal, so roll out the project on time with requested functionalities and quality.
That's impressive. How looks like now your responsibilities when you are more experienced?
Yeah, regarding the job responsibilities right now in PMI, I would say they are similar, just on a bigger scale. So I'm responsible for the migration of on-site application to cloud-based application in 50 countries, which will take us around 2 years to complete it. And as a project manager, I still need to prepare project schedule, so timeline and delivered work steps. I manage budget, but it is much bigger. I speak with different stakeholders, but there are people from different departments and engaged in different topics. And additionally, comparing with previous job, as the project manager is much bigger, there is much more preparation in this first pre-phase. It means that, for example, right now we are working on organization of support for both software and hardware-related topics. But generally, I really feel I have an ability to act independently, solve problems, and influence various topics here.
Industry 4.0, IoT, Cloud, these are slogans that touch the hearts and minds of many businessmen and engineers. I see you love it too. Can we stop here for a second and could you explain us shortly what they mean?
Sure. So Industry 4.0 refers to the fourth industrial revolution that focuses heavily on interconnectivity, automation, machine learning, and real-time data. So in a nutshell, it's digitalization of production. I would say that Industry 4.0 refers to IoT and marries physical production process with smart digital technology. In my opinion, it's like the natural step, which is still growing, but I believe it will go ahead. And it really helps not only companies to be more efficient, but ordinary workers to make their job less problematic and fluent. Today there are many technical issues in information delivery. I believe in an idea that in a future there can be created a digital shadow of all subsystems and processes which will ensure that information flow between all actors, and sooner or later it will happen. What I would like to add maybe here, that interesting point is that technology and digitalization reach not only production, but basically all sectors of economy. For example, in Philip Morris, many people might still see the company as a tobacco, but in fact we are currently under a huge business transformation, and our aim is to build a smoke-free future. So in our case, new technologies and digitalization play an increasingly important role.
And for you as a woman in this industry, are they a challenge?
Mm-hmm. It was a challenge for me to be in the industry. So maybe not in Industry 4.0, so in IT, because I have already had this production background. And once I became a little bit more experienced in IT field, I could really draw from my previous experiences, and it helped me a lot. But it was extremely hard to start in industry, and I was the only woman then speaking with many males, and it was stressful and tough experience when I started. I believe it can be tough for other women, especially if they do not have any production experience and they are just starting in IT, in Industry 4.0. Yes.
What part of your job do you dislike so far, and which part do you prefer, and which one excites you more?
I do not like the moment before we switch from testing to a productive environment. So before going live. It's always very time-consuming, and it's a hard time for all people working on the project because people are tired. There are always some bugs which have to be very quickly fixed and corrected before the big rollout. And sometimes people feel like they want to quit their job, so it's stressful for me as well. But at the same time, going live, of course, successfully, always makes me happy because everyone around me is happy.
Yeah, that is the most exciting part of our job. I totally agree. We are living now in very specific period. How do you think the role of the project manager has changed during the pandemic?
Yeah, it's extremely hard to work in agile way. When team works remotely, it's hard to work as a team. Everyone sits alone and cannot just ask if he doesn't know something. He has to write on chat, call somebody, or set up a meeting. I have worked for PMI for 6 months, and I found myself hard to be on board remotely, mainly due to the reasons I just mentioned. It's hard to understand people's moods, emotions, how they feel, if they are motivated. As many of them is not switching the camera on. You cannot judge, what they think, and even if they are switching the camera on, you still cannot judge without seeing the body language. So from this point of view, it changed a lot during the pandemic.
Yeah, I totally agree. Switching camera on, it's very, in some areas, challenging for the people. I don't understand why, but it is like it is. Especially when we are joking with my team that PM is constantly between the hammer and the anvil. It's the analogy to cooperation with key workers, stakeholders, users. Bearing that in mind, it's really such a good job position?
Depends if you like working with very different people. If not, for sure, it's not for you. I like the moments when I translate the business language to developers and other way around. I like to ask the question, why we are doing it. Very often, people present some project requirements, suggest already some solution, but sometimes it can be done completely different way. You just need to understand what would be the value for the end user, whose and what kind of problem you want to solve by this project. In PMI, for example, we really focus on teamwork, and it's really nice. My project is like the part of the PMI culture, cooperation, and I can feel support from different departments and teams, and I see that company supports such behaviors.
That's really nice. So for whom would you recommend this job position?
For everyone who just believes can do it and he or she will be halfway there. You need to be communicative, very self-organized, motivated, and prepare for ups and downs every day. But finally, the job gives you big satisfaction. It is important to remember that you don't have to be a PM right away, but you may just want to. And in PMI, it is possible to change the department or function. The company encourages you to gain different experiences and development paths.
So what 3 tips would you give for people who wants to become a project manager?
1. Be prepared that sometimes you have to leave your comfort zone. 2. Educate yourself in both soft and hard skills. 3. Make fun with people, stay positive, motivate your team, even if you feel that go-live of your project has no chance to start on time. Thank you.
That was the amazing 3 golden tips for the people they dream about the project manager role. Thank you very much, Karolina, for our discussion. It was a great pleasure having you here and listening about your story and your amazing work. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Judita, for your time. Thank you for this interview. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
I hope that after listening to this conversation you feel a bit inspired and have some more information to consider launching a new career as a project manager. Should you have any questions, write on us on podcast@womenintechnology.pl. Karolina and Judita will be happy to answer them. So, that's all for today. Thanks for your time, take care, and follow us on Spotify or your favorite podcast application. New excited content is waiting to be published.